I'm not a betting man, but if I were, I would wager that at least 9 out of 10 anglers would all cite the same author if asked who the most influential voice in fly fishing literature has been for the last real 40 years. But although I've read all of his works, I don't think I own a single one of them. I'll talk about who it is and why that is here on Casting Across. Hi, I'm Matthew of castingacross.com, where I explore the quarry and culture of fly fishing. And today, of course, we're talking about John Gierach. John Gierach, who had a breakout hit back in 1986 with Trout Bum. There's a few other works that came before that. And then wrote with great consistency through the late 80s, 90s, into the 2000s, up until All the Time in the World in 2023, which came out the year before his passing. An influential author, an accessible author, a clear author, and really the prototype for this style of writing. Real quick funny story, at least in my opinion, when I started reading fly fishing books, Sex, Death, and Fly Fishing was always there on the library shelf. And as a teenager, I thought, there's no way I can pick this up, let alone check it out. I'm sure some sort of siren will go off. Certainly my mother will not be happy if I get it. I think I did read it in the library like I was some sort of criminal. But I don't own any of his works. You might see behind me that I like consistency. I like things to look nice and organized and in an orderly fashion. And at this point, I don't think there is one consistent set of his works from an aesthetic perspective. And you might think that's crazy, and I acknowledge it's a little bit crazy, but I'm waiting for that to happen. So whether it be Lions Press or Stackpole or whoever owns that, then I'd love to see a collected works of his major works, all with the same binding and the same aesthetics. I will buy it. I will give you my money right away. That hasn't happened yet. But why don't I own any of them? Well, I have from time to time. I've owned a paperback of, Dances with Trout, with even Brook Trout Gets the Blues. I know I've owned those paperbacks, but I've given them to other people because I really think that Gierach's writing is exceptional. There's a reason why he's as popular as he is. But what I want to focus on today is how you can read everything he's written without spending a dime. Well, I take that back. It does require some money because you get it through your library. Not just going to your library and checking out a book, although that's great, but through some of the apps that most libraries give you access to. So this app is called Hoopla. 3 of the 4 libraries that I have been a member of in different states in the last 10 years have offered this as part of just having your library card. And as you can probably see, with John Gierach, there's anything and everything, both in audiobook and in ebook format. So you can listen to it, or you can read it, or if you really want to get creative, you could do both. I guess you could use your tablet and you can use your phone. But this is how, in the last year, I actually did something I would recommend you doing. And that was, I listened to both All the Time in the World, what came out in 2023, his last work that was published before he passed away, and Trout Bum, a work that came out in 1986. So you had effectively a 40-year gap between these two works. And there's a few things that were remarkable to me. One, he's as gifted back when he started as he was as a seasoned veteran author. Secondly, you can see a little bit of a change in his perspective. And I don't want to give away what that is, but it was really interesting. So this is how I did it. I listened to both these books. You could also read both these books on here. You could certainly purchase both of those books from your local fly shop or get them from your library or buy them on Amazon or whatever you'd like to do. But all of his works are worth reading. This was just a fun little exercise that I would consider doing if you have read John Gierach before or if you've not read him. This would be a great way to kind of get a scope of his writing. Now, this is a loaded question, and I'm sure I'll get a lot of different answers, but what is your favorite John Gierach book? I would have to say, in my humble opinion, Standing in a River, Waving a Stick kind of stood head and shoulders above everything else for me. Now, this one came out in 1999, and so it was right when I was really getting into fly fishing, so that probably has something to do with it. But let me know what yours is in the comments below or over at castingacross.com, which is where you can go to get 3 posts a week on the people, places, and things that go into the pursuit of fish.